My name is Brian Bloomstrom. I'm one of the instructors that's in the criminal justice program here, and I'd like to welcome you to talk about this type of degree. There are different avenues a student can go down when completing their degree here at MCC. Obviously, to finish the full 2-year program, you would receive an associate degree of applied science in the criminal justice field. However, some students find it easier to come in while they're currently working, such as if they're already working for the Michigan Department of Corrections or working within a county jail. And with that being said, there are other classes that can be taken within the program to show that there has been some knowledge attained, but not to the degree of the associate level. So there are some certificates that are offered here at the college as well. There's a corrections certificate that's available, and then ongoing corrections officer training for those that already are working for the Department of Corrections here in the state of Michigan. One thing that's unique about our program is that it is a part of the Michigan Transfer Pathway, which allows students that want to move on to get a 4-year Bachelor of Science degree to graduate from Macomb Community College and then move on to a participating college or university that works with the transfer program. So just because you're here to get a 2-year degree, you might get into doing the education thing and realize I want to move on and get my bachelor's degree. There is a list available through the office that you can look to see what colleges participate in the transfer. All of your classes would then transfer to that 4-year institution, and you could continue with your education to attain the bachelor's degree. One thing that I do want to mention that if you happen to have an issue with law enforcement in the past and had some sort of criminal record that may have occurred at some point in time, that you should really speak with a counselor or a representative from the state police or MCOLS, and that's the Michigan Commission on Licensing and Law Enforcement, because they're going to want to make sure that you're eligible to go to a police academy based upon what happened in your past. We just want to make sure that you're eligible to work in this field before completing all the necessary requirements and finding out that that might not be feasible at the present time. There are currently 4 instructors that teach a majority of the classes that are here. And as Emily said earlier, my name is Brian Bloomstrom. My main job is working for the City of Greenville Department of Public Safety. I'm a staff sergeant with that department. We're a cross-trained department, so we handle police and fire responses throughout the city and in Eureka Township, which is just south of the college here. I handle quite a few of the law enforcement classes, just like, as you can see on your screen, Kevin Sweeney does as well. He is a Michigan State Police lieutenant and worked here in our county for many years before just transferring to Lansing to work in the Emergency Management Division. However, he continues to teach on staff and also teaches many law enforcement type programs. From a correction standpoint, we have Glennis Page, who works for the Michigan Department of Corrections, and she handles many corrections classes and deals with anything for the Michigan Department of Corrections as a liaison to them. We also have Christy Jeffrey, who handles our juvenile class, and she's actually the court administrator here in Macomb County at the 8th Circuit Court. So she teaches juvenile justice due to the fact that she has a great background in that type of the criminal justice field. There are also some additional faculty that come and go that pick up a class here or there. But for the most part, we're the 4 that anybody that enrolls to obtain their criminal justice degree, they will cross our path quite a bit. So why MCC? Why the difference here? And I really want to say again, your instructor staff is what makes the difference. That's the first piece. All of us have many years of experience in both local and state criminal justice programs. We're always very approachable, emails, phone calls. We're always ready to help the students that need that assistance, whether it's with a homework question or even job opportunity questions. Since all of us work for different agencies, we have access to local and state resources to assist in the classroom. Many times we have students that find during the course of their classes that they want to pursue the Michigan State Police as a possible occupation, or local police department, or the Department of Corrections. And they come to us and say, how do I go about getting an internship working for those agencies? Since we work with the locals and the state, we have those options to refer people and try and get them into different departments for those internships, maybe ride-alongs, getting some of the experience that's needed. Our biggest thing is we want to make sure that you're comfortable with the occupation you choose. And we have students that will ride along and do a couple shifts maybe with local law enforcement, and they say, that's really not me. I'd rather work for the Department of Health and Human Services. I'd rather be involved with child abuse cases versus working the road as a police officer. That's no problem. The degree still will assist you in that, and we can help you down that path to go work with DHHS. Another reason to come here, and the difference, is the class sizes. We have smaller class sizes at MCC, which means they're very manageable for both lecture and practical activities. We've found out here in the last year, due to COVID, that the classes are very manageable to do online. So if necessary, one of the classes here that I teach, criminal law, we're fully online for the semester. So you don't have to worry about driving in during the inclement weather, the snow, or anything like that. We can meet online and have our group discussions and do all the things that would occur in the classroom. But that also being said, with the smaller class sizes, we can do practical activities. And many classes have practicals that go with them, lab work per se. So doing hands-on or actual interviewing of people and criminalistics stuff, such as fingerprinting and looking at bullet casings and shells and measuring, we have the opportunity to do those things in our classes due to the small class size and the great facilities that we have here at the college. Additionally, the smaller class sizes allows us to go off campus to local facilities. And this is a huge piece of the criminal justice program as well. In your classes, you will do tours of the jails located in this area. You'll go to a couple prisons. You'll be able to go to the CAC Center, which is a place that children are interviewed when they're victims of crime. We're able to do those things because of the small class sizes. So you're not just in the classroom for your courses, but you're out in the field, actually seeing the people you may work with in the future and also learning about the occupation. Smaller class sizes allow us to give you the personal attention that you need, and then use those relationships to assist with hiring an internship possibility. All right, I missed a slide here, but I want to go back to degree occupations. When we talk about that criminal justice associate of applied science, when you're done, you can see that upon receiving the 2-year degree, then you're eligible to go to a police academy. And there are numerous police academies in this area as well. Grand Valley State University has one in the summertime. GRCC, Grand Rapids Community College, has one as well too. So that allows you to enroll right away in the police academy if you want to go that route. If you choose not to do the police academy but still want to be in criminal justice, as you can see, the Department of Health and Human Services hire, as well as local police departments, other criminal justice agencies, for secretary work, administrative assistant, security, different types of jobs that are within law enforcement, but are not necessarily on the road. If you're very good with computers, most departments have an IT individual or a person that runs LEAN, which is the Law Enforcement Information Network, and they always need people to be able to be that link between Lansing and the police department. Finally, again, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Fast Track program, and that's a deal where if you work for the Department of Corrections, based on your shift, you can come to school here every day of the week and complete 1 or 2 classes every 15 days. So you'd come in on a Monday through Friday, and you'll do chapters 1 through 5. Glennis Page handles this part of the program, and you can knock out 1 or 2 classes within 15 days, and then you're on to the next 2 sets of classes, which means you're really on the fast track to move to get that certificate and even apply that later on toward your associate degree if you choose to do so. So the core courses I have listed here, and you can see that there is a multitude of different topics that you would look at and will look at as part of attaining your associate degree or even certificate. And as you run through the list, you can see that there are things involving corrections and jails, there's criminal investigation, there's law, things involving juvenile delinquency. And then we started looking at how do we handle individuals once they're out of jail or prison, client relations and corrections, and client growth and development. There is a wide range of topics which assists the student to figure out, what do I really want to do? We get so many students that come in and say, we want to help people, we want to be involved with criminal justice, but I don't know if I want to be a police officer, I don't know if I want to work in a county jail, I don't know if I want to be a child abuse and neglect investigator. This degree program is right for you because through every semester, you'll touch on these different topics, which allows you to figure out what path you want to go down in that criminal justice degree area. And then you can focus on one once you've completed the degree requirements and have your associate degree. Couple classes I'll highlight here too. I talk about small classes and be able to do practicals. Here's criminal investigation, Crim 130. This is a class here where the first half of the class we go through legal issues, scientific knowledge, how do you process crime scenes, and we go through all the basic ideas of how a criminal investigator would work in a police department. And that's the first half of the class. During that, we set up different scenarios. You can see the picture here where we have a student that is making a plaster cast of a footprint that would have been found in the dirt outside, possibly a residence or a vehicle that is under investigation. So we actually practice doing these things. So when you leave the school here and you get into the law enforcement realm and they say, hey, have you ever done this stuff practically? You can say, yes, we have. So we do fingerprinting, casting, different types of crime scene process. And the second half of the class is all discussions and tours. Going to meeting with somebody from the YWCA for forensic nursing, talking with somebody from the medical examiner's office. This gives the student the idea of what kind of investigator do they really want to be. And we can meet with those professionals in the field. And you can see some of the other pictures here where they're doing more casting, fingerprinting, and looking at different items, and we practice that so you have the students have the practical knowledge of doing this in their career. Another class that we do, especially with practicals, here will be the 136. I'll bring that up here in a second. This is a crime scene here as another example of we're looking at how to process a dead body scene here. And there's bullet casings, and the students go through about measuring the body so they can recreate the scene. They sketch out the crime scene, and then they analyze the evidence that's seen there. 136 is a communications class. This goes through your personal skills on how to do the criminal justice job, but also communication skills involving corrections, law enforcement, and the courts. So the student gets the idea of what paperwork needs to be done, how documentation works, de-escalation techniques for prisoners. The law enforcement realm will get into interview and interrogation, taking field notes, and then actually interviewing people one-on-one to get the practice of talking to all different types of people. The practical component, and then we end up having you testify in a mock court so you understand what it's like to be on the stand. But the practical component really brings the class together toward the end, where we look at we have a crime scene that is set up, and you interview individuals that were here at the crime scene, and they portray different types of people. You're going to have a hostile individual. You're going to have a drunk individual. You're going to have an individual that doesn't want to talk to the police. You have some forthcoming individuals. So you get the practice of interviewing the people involved with this practical, documenting the scene, and building a police report. So if you do a job, and it doesn't even matter if you're law enforcement, because reports are done by all different criminal justice people, whether it's health and human services, corrections, anybody like that, but you can walk into your job and say, yes, I've interviewed people, I've interrogated people, I've actually built a police report. And employers like that they already know then they're not starting from scratch. You have received that education at Montcalm Community College, and that's a big piece of it. All the actors here actually are local police officers and firefighters that come in. They donate their time to help the students get to where they want to be for obtaining the degree or certificate. So in conclusion, right now, this is a good time to be looking in the criminal justice field. There are a lot of retirements going on. The job opportunities are plentiful. And not just in law enforcement, corrections, both at the state and the local level, social work. There are openings all over the place, and they're well-paying jobs that are out there. So the opportunities are there for you, and MCC is the right place to be able to provide you as the student with the basic understanding and practical knowledge regarding criminal justice occupation. So many other schools, you sit in a lecture hall for 15 weeks and you're done with a big notepad and all these notes, and you've never done anything involving it. That's not the way it works here. We will give you the opportunity to practice what you've learned, and that's going to be huge then for the employer that hires you later on. The course placement is ready for students. If you want to transfer out and I'm getting your bachelor's degree, we're able to help you with that too. So that's the big selling point. If you want to go on and get that bachelor's degree, start local. We'll get you to that point, and then we will work with you to see where the best place is for you to go next. And your staff is top notch. It's all localized people. They know the current needs. They know what the current trends are in law enforcement, corrections, rescue, and DHHS things. So we're able to put you in the right direction and work with you to make sure you are successful.